We're going to replace the headlight on a 2006 Chevy Uplander. Turn the car off. Make sure it's off for a few minutes if you've been running the headlights so that they cool off, and we'll pop them up. The light bulbs required for the 2006 Uplander are the H11s. That's for the low beam and high beam, so real simple. And when you get the brighter bulbs like I got, one thing you're going to notice is that they have a slightly less of a lifespan. So the brighter they are, the shorter they last. So something to keep in mind. They're a little bit more expensive too. Alright, to get the headlight out, you actually have to remove the whole housing. But it's pretty simple. There's a 10mm bolt here, and there's a retaining pin here. So first thing we're going to do is get our wrench. And we'll loosen this bolt. Once it's loose, go ahead and remove it. We'll set it to the side. Now this pin, turn it to the side, and you pull it out. And that's it. Set it to the side. Now as you pull it out, you'll notice here there's a rubber seal. This rubber seal tends to get stuck on the housing, so you may have to lift the housing up a little bit to get that rubber seal out. There we go. Now back behind here, there's a clip, a knob almost, that fits into the frame here. So you may have to give it a little bit of a jerk, but it'll come right out then. Now, on the inside here is the brights. We're not replacing the brights today for me. We're going to replace the regular headlight. Take and you twist it. And go ahead and pull it out. As you can see, mine has burnt up. Now on the sides there's clips, one here, one here. You're going to have to pry those off. Sometimes you got to use a screwdriver to get them off. I'm going to go ahead and do that, so we'll pause here. And when you're replacing the old bulb, you've got it off, you'll notice that the connector is notched, so it can only go on one way. When you open your new bulbs, be very careful not to touch the bulb itself. Touch the plastic housing only. If you touch the bulb, you've pretty much wasted your money because the oil in your skin will damage the bulb. Sometimes, if there's things in the way, it's easier to actually put the bulb in first and then connect the wiring. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And we'll take the connector, slide it on until it clips. We're done with that part. Now we'll put the headlight back on. Watch your wires that you don't crimp them. So we'll slide it. Now, like I said, there's that knob on the back here. You may have to give it a little bit of a bump to get it in. Okay. Alright, now you may have to lift up on the housing a little bit to make sure the rubber seal is in. Now take your 10mm bolt, thread it back down in here. And we'll go ahead and torque it down a little bit. Doesn't have to be terribly tight. You don't want to strip it. We'll get our pin. I don't know if you can see on the video, but down here you see the one hole and then the top hole. So you basically just got to try to line up the pin between the top and bottom holes. Once you do, push it down. You may have to tap it with something hard. sometimes you can get it to slide right in. We have to tap this a little bit. There you go. So we got the pin back in. The screw is tight. Headlight is in the housing. We're done with one side. The other side is pretty much the same. Just loosen the 10mm bolt here. We'll go ahead and remove the threading, or remove it, hand threading it out. Set it to the side, and we'll go ahead and work this pin out. So we got the pin out. Again, same thing with the housing. Might have to pull the housing back to get the rubber seal out. Okay, so that's out. Again, inside is brights, outside is the dims. So I'm going to again get the screwdriver and we'll pop these clips off. Again, be very careful as you're getting your other light bulb out that you do not touch the actual bulb. Touch the housing. And again, sometimes it's easier to connect the bulb first and then attach the wiring. So I'm going to do that. Remember the notch, it only goes on one way. It clipped on, so we're all secure. On this side there's more wiring to worry about. I like lifting this guy up because he tends to get in the way of the pin. Smack it in. Okay. Get the pin, work it in. Alright, took a little bit of finagling, but I got that pin down in there. So push it all the way down and snap it in. Get the screw or the bolt, finger tighten it in. And we'll get our wrench and tighten it down a little bit. Again, not too tight, you don't want to strip it. And that's it. That's how you change the light bulbs in a 2006 Chevy Uplander.